Welcome back to another episode of DIY with Danny. Today we're going to take you to school a little bit. We got our whiteboard behind us. We're going to talk about the 5 main factors when choosing a contractor. Now, we're getting a lot of calls, and the main reason for this video is we're getting a lot of calls from unfinished projects, missing contractors. So if that's happening, it's telling us that you folks are not choosing wisely and don't have the proper checklist. So we're gonna go and we're gonna talk about the 5 top reasons that I think you need to look for when choosing a contractor. But before we get started, like, subscribe, click that bell, helps us out, helps the algorithm. YouTube likes it, we love it. So keep doing it. Number 1, as you can see here, we're gonna check the license and the insurance. Now, why is it important to hire a licensed contractor? Well, technically, it's illegal to hire an unlicensed contractor to do any work for you. So that's 1. Number 2 is, let's say there's an injury on the job site and there's no insurance. Who are they gonna come after? You're the homeowner, or you're the person that's hiring this person to do work for you. So ultimately you're liable, which means you're taking on all the risks. You don't want that risk as a homeowner, as a person hiring somebody to do some work for you. Also, any lawsuits that come up in the future, they're going to come directly to you. If something happens, somebody doesn't get paid, another contractor doesn't get paid, they hire a subcontractor, that's also a big liability that you do not want to have. So making sure that they're licensed and insured, it doesn't protect you 100% from that. You still have to make sure that they're following their protocols and doing things right, but it's going to save you in the long run if you just do that. Also, their insurance, there's an accord form that I'll show you. It's just basically saying that their insurance is valid from the date of when your project is going to take place until the date of when your project is going to be completed. So always make sure you get that. So I'm going to take you to the CSLB website. That's the Contractor State License Board. And on that website is how you're going to be able to determine if the contractor is licensed, when they were licensed, if they have insurance, if they have workers' comp, things like that. So let's go ahead and go to the website. I'm also going to show you the accord form, the insurance form that you're going to need to look for. So let's check it out now. All right, guys. So we're here on the Contractor State License Board website. As you can see, we've got cslb.ca.gov. That is the link that you'll want to type into your browser. And then you're going to want to come over here to Consumer. What this will do is this will get you to a new window where you can do a license check. This is just the path to try to find the contractors that you're doing your due diligence on. You're going to type in license check, and you can either put in their business name or their license number. So I'll give you an example here of our company, DCLA. We'll search it out. And let's see, let's go back. There we go. Got to be in the name category. And we're right at the top. You click on the license number, it takes you to their profile, shows you the business name, the license is current and active, bond information here, workers' comp information here. So what this does is this gives you the full scope of the licensed contractor that you're doing or is going to be doing work for you, and then also making sure that they have all the proper bond and workers' comp information. So this should help you if you do come to this site and you see like something like expired, something like that, then that's definitely a red flag. But if it's showing active and all green, then that means you're good to go. So this is one aspect that you can check. Let's go ahead and I'll show you the accord form now, what that looks like. All right, so here is a sample accord form. This is going to demonstrate certificate of liability insurance. Typically, the minimum requirements are going to be $1 million, $2 million. Also, this is going to have the name of the insurance company. It's going to have the contractor. You can also get listed on here as well. And if you go down a little bit more through the policy, this just gives additional information regarding the insurance and the type of coverage that they have. So really important to go ahead and look at this document, make sure all the dates are current, check all their limits in terms of how much they have, and if they have this, you should be good to go. All right, so now that we got number 1 out of the way, let's jump to number 2. Don't let price be a factor. Now, price is always a factor to a certain extent, but sometimes there's just jobs you can't do. If you can't afford it, you're gonna have to just save some money, wait till you got a big chunk of cash, get it done. My dad always used to tell me, hey, if you want a paint job, I'm sure you can get somebody to do it for $60. It's probably gonna be some 4th grade kid down the street, but what kind of job is he gonna do? So in terms of pricing, you wanna hire professionals as much as you can. Now, we all know that things are tight. You wanna try to save some money here and there, but at the end of the day, you get what you pay for. No cutting corners there. Also, we get a lot of jobs from people that have hired somebody in the past that they tried to save money on, and now they end up paying more than double because they got to come and hire us. They're not willing to go down and pay somebody less again to try to get the same type of work done on their property. So we come in, do the work. It just doesn't work everything. Now, there is always going to be a high, a low, and a middle, and you always want to favor the higher end side if possible. But if there's somebody coming in super cheap, there's probably, maybe they're not licensed, maybe they're not insured. So you're paying a little bit more for a premium, and I would say definitely do not make price a factor when choosing, or don't make it the top factor when choosing your contractor. All right, let's get into number 3. We're talking about getting referrals from your contractor. What does this mean? This means how many jobs have they done in the past? Who have they done work for? You're gonna want your contractor to give you at least 3 to 5 projects. Now, why is that important? You wanna talk to previous clients that they've had. You wanna ask them, how did the project go? How did the timelines go? Most of the time, their clients are gonna give you their top clients. They're gonna be a little bit biased, but you can kind of gauge from what they're saying. You can ask the right questions. Also, you can go check out their projects. Now, when you go to a live project, it's really important to look around to see if there's trash, if it's clean, if people are being safe, things like that. Also, try to not set it up on a day that your contractor is going to be expecting you to be there. Trying to set up where it's vague. Hey, maybe I'll get out this week. I'll let you know when I can come by, and then do a, hey, I'm in the area. Can I stop by your project? Already have the address and be in the area and just pop in, see how it does. This is really important to see the live projects. Big factors on referrals is going to be timeline and did they meet budget. Also is ask, how are they on change orders? If they have a reasonable small number of change orders, that's pretty standard. If it's big on change orders, that could be a bait and switch a lot of contractors use, is they'll come in low and then they'll just jack up their change orders. You end up paying way more in the end. So go ahead and look at that. And always, the best ones come from referrals of people that have done work in the past that you know and that you trust. All right, so we've gone over some really key points. Making sure they're licensed. Don't let price be the deciding factor. Get 3 to 5 referrals. Next, number 4, we're gonna get into how long does it take to get this project done? Well, your contractor should give you an estimated projected schedule on the estimate, as well as when you get into construction for sure. But even during the estimating phase, they should give you a Gantt chart that shows when they're going to start, when the different trades are going to start, how long it's going to take within the trades, the total duration of the project, and that's also going to tie into a payment schedule as well. So that's really important. So let me go ahead and show you a Gantt chart that we work on, and maybe this will give you some insight. Okay, so you can see this is an app that we use. It's called Builder Trend. This is a great app. It's a construction management app, but this Gantt chart in the app works out really well. As you can see here, we have demo starting on the 25th. It's going to take 17 days. Okay, once that's completed, we'll be able to jump into framing. We can actually get into framing a little bit prior to when demo starts. And the cool thing about this app is you can click on each one of these tabs and you can go in and you can change the amount of days, and then it also changes on your Gantt chart. Now, one thing that we like to stress with clients and people that we work with is that this is just a general overall schedule of events. Really, you're going to be considering the start date and completion date. Those dates are really the most important dates, and to make sure that your contractors are not falling behind. If they're 2 or 3 trades behind, then yeah, you can throw up some red flags. But overall, this is just a general layout for you as a client to be able to get a gauge of when they're starting, when they're completing, and it gives you some insight into what their timeline is. One interesting thing to note here is that the Gantt chart was actually developed by a gentleman back in 1915, and we're still using it today. So thanks to Mr. Gantt for putting this out there, and yeah, I hope this helps you on the Gantt chart. Get into Buildertrend, check it out. This is a really good. There's a lot of Gantt charts. Excel has one, but this is the one that we like to use. All right, so number 5. This is really key. They're all key, but this one is key because this is what comes down. This is when it gets down to the nitty-gritty. You want to see a detailed estimate that's going to tell you how much each item is going to cost per scope and per trade. So that means if they start with demo, how much is demo? If they go into foundation, what's that cost? Go into framing, what's that cost? That's going to be the estimate that they're going to give you. Now, once you get into the contract of actually what you're signing, that gets into a lot more detail of what type of finishes are they paying for? What type of finishes are you paying for? Are you paying for the flooring or are they paying for the flooring? If you're paying for it, how much are you spending? Do you know how much you're spending? Do you know if they're paying for it, what type of flooring are you getting? All those variables need to be worked out in the contract so that you make sure that you know what you're getting and what you're paying for, and also that there's not a lot of unforeseens that are coming up in the project. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna go in, we're gonna show you how we do it and what our detailed contracts look like. So let's go and take a look at that. So I'll just run through this here. We have our company name, license number, and then we jump right into the scope of the work, starting with demo framing. And as you can see, we have each line item and each description of each line item. So that helps you when you're billing, and then when the contractor's billing you, you'll know what they're billing you for. Now, a lot of times on the contract, we don't get too specific into like framing and demo and things like that because a lot of that's going to be per plan. So you're going to want to reference per plan. That means whatever the city requirements are, that's what the contractor is going to need to uphold to in terms of standards and things like that. So this is a estimate that we provide, and then we just embed it into our contract. And then this moves into all of the specific communication, what our commitment is, the work that we're going to be doing, the timelines, things like that. This is about an 18-page agreement, and it just goes through all of the legal expectations of what we're going to be doing, and then what also the client is going to be expected as well. As we move through, it gives the contractor's bid, payment schedule. Really important to talk about change orders, how much you're going to mark up on change orders, what the expectation is for payment, things like that. And then as we come all the way to the bottom here is when you get down to signing the contract, and then that also has a start date, completion date, and down below you sign it, the contractor signs it, the homeowner signs it, or whoever's accepting the proposal, and you move on to take care of your work. Hopefully this helps you. There's a lot of details here that we're just kind of going through, but this gives you a general idea of all the details, information of what's needed when you're doing your contract with your contractor. All right, let's jump back to it. All right, that was another episode of DIY with Danny, bringing you my top 5 things to look for when hiring a contractor. Hope you enjoyed it. Just to recap real quick, we're going to talk about this again. Don't forget it. If you do, you can go back to the video, watch it again, but make sure they're licensed. Don't let price be a factor, please. Get 3 referrals, get 5 referrals if you can. Look at their Gantt chart. Do they have anything that they can show you how long the project is going to take? And make sure you get a detailed contract specifying everything that's going to happen on your job site. Why do we do this? Well, main reason, we have a checklist for ourselves, we have a checklist for our clients. It eliminates a lot of pain. It's going to make your job go smooth. Hope this really helps you. Catch you guys on the next one.